Play at maximum volume.
Turn me on, turn me up.
Yo, drop the cut.
Turn me on, turn me up. 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 When music hits you in the middle of the night, power up your TS-10. Put the groove down right. On stage or in the studio, the sound is here to stay. Just turn on your TS-10 and play. Turn me on, turn me up. 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 Turn me on. Turn me on, turn me up. 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 Turn me on.
We want to make sure that we're all working with the same set of sounds. Find the TSD-100 disc and load it into the drive. Press Storage, press Disk, select Load. Use the data entry controls to set the type equals 120 programs. Set Load File Equals to User Banks. Select Yes. In a few seconds, the load operation will be complete. Selecting programs and sounds. We'll begin our tutorial by selecting and playing a few of the TS sounds. Press the Sounds button. This puts the TS into Sounds mode. The TS display will be showing you the 6 sounds available in the bank that's currently selected. More on banks later. Press the button directly above or below the sound you want to select. The bank of sounds you see may differ from the one shown here. The buttons located inside the display are called soft buttons because the functions of these buttons are determined by the software. You can access other banks of programs in the current bank set. More on bank sets later, using the 10 bank buttons located directly under the display. Press one of the 10 bank buttons, 0 through 9, below the display. Its yellow LED will light. Press the soft button directly above or below the name of the sound you wish to play. TS banks are organized into larger groupings called bank sets. Press the bank set button a few times. Each time you press, the TS displays the new bank set and the sounds within it. The name of the bank set is located in the upper left corner of the screen. You can select banks and sounds from each bank set Using the real-time controllers. Real-time controllers are a type of controller that lets you modify sounds as you play them. The TS includes a number of real-time controllers. The function of each is programmable and can vary from sound to sound. For these next few exercises, move to Bank 9 in bank set R4. The display should be showing R4 9 in the upper left corner. Using the pitch bend wheel. Select the sound mist. Move the pitch bend wheel, the wheel farthest left, while playing the keyboard. This will allow you to bend the pitch of the sound. The pitch bend wheel, like the other controllers, can be programmed to do other things too. See your musician's manual for details. Using the mod wheel. Select the sound multi-bass. While playing a key, move the mod wheel, the wheel farthest right. Pushing the wheel forward will add vibrato to the sound. Select the sound grand piano. Move the mod wheel. Pushing the wheel forward will allow you to control the effects mix for this sound. Please note, the mod wheel, unlike the pitch bend wheel, does not return to its original position once released. It remains wherever you set it. Normally, you'll want it left rolled all of the way toward you when you're not using it. Using the polykey pressure feature. Pressing harder on the key generates polykey information. This controller information can be used in a variety of ways. Press the Bank 1 button and select the sound Sitar Groove. Press the G4 key down, then press more firmly on the key. Notice that the pitch is raised a whole step. Press the E2 key and then press harder. Notice that the pitch is lowered a whole step. This is because polykey pressure, like all modulators, can be assigned to modulate different parameters within the same sound. By the way, the rhythm you're hearing is a good example of one of the many hyperwaves found in the TS series. Another Ensoniq exclusive is the patch select buttons. You'll find these located above the pitch bend wheel. Select the sound Tutorial from Bank 9 in bank set U1. The display should be showing U1 9 in the upper left corner. Play a note or chord. Press and hold the left patch select button and play a note or chord. Press and hold the right patch select button and play a note or chord. Press and hold both patch select buttons and play a note or chord. In this case, the patch select buttons are used to call up completely different sounds. Select the sound Elec Keys from Bank 0 in Bank Set 0. The display should be showing U00 in the upper left corner. Try holding first the left, then the right, and then both patch select buttons while playing the sound. In this case, the patch select buttons are used to call up completely different versions of the sound. Stacking sounds on the TS keyboard is simple. Press the Sounds button to enter Sounds mode if you are currently in some other mode, and select Bank 0 in Bank Set U0. Select the grand piano sound. This will be the primary sound. Double-click the soft button directly below the mist sound. This will become one of two possible secondary sounds. If you play the keyboard now, you will hear both sounds. Double-click the soft button directly below the multi-bass sound. This will become the other secondary sound. If you play the keyboard now, you will hear all three sounds. Before you continue, make sure that grand piano is selected as the primary sound and that mist and multi-bass are stacked with the grand piano. The presets. Sounds that have been stacked together can be saved as presets. Up to 3 sounds can be combined to form a preset, and these 3 sounds can be split and/or stacked in any way. The TS includes 300 presets when shipped from the factory. Selecting a preset. Press the Presets button. Press the soft button nearest the name of the preset you wish to select. Selecting other presets in the current bank. Select the presets in the current bank to get a sense of how this process works. Note that each time you select a new preset, the effect sound changes. This is because each preset can have its own effect setup, overriding the effect setups for the individual sounds used in the preset. Selecting presets in other banks within the current bank set. As with sounds, presets are grouped into sets of 6, called banks. Press one of the 10 bank buttons, 0 through 9, below the display. Its yellow LED will light. Press the soft button directly above or below the name of the preset you wish to play. Selecting presets in other bank sets. As with sounds, banks of presets are organized into larger groupings called bank sets. While holding down the bank set button, press one of the first 5 bank buttons, 0 through 4, to select a new bank set. Alternatively, you can press the bank set button repeatedly to scroll through all the bank sets. Select banks and presets from the new bank set as described above. Editing presets. Entering Edit Presets mode. Select a preset by pressing its soft button. Press the preset's soft button once again. The display will replace the preset's name with Edited. Pressing the soft button for a preset once selects the preset. Pressing it again recalls the last edited preset, in this case, the grand piano, multi-bass, mist stack we were just working with. Note that the last 3 sounds you selected on the TS become the current edit preset. You can examine the sounds and parameters that make up the current edit preset. Press the Presets button. This is showing the 3 sounds you have stacked. Grand piano has a solid underline, indicating it is the primary sound. Multi-bass and mist both have flashing underlines, indicating that they are secondary sounds. Editing presets. A number of parameters can be edited so you can tailor presets to your specific needs. For the most part, each of these parameters are edited in the same way. For example, to change the volume of the grand piano sound, press the Mix Pan button in the Track Parameters section. Press the soft button underneath grand piano. The number is underlined. Use the data entry slider and/or the up-down arrow buttons to change the value to 108. You can hear the volume changes as you play the keyboard. Editing the key range of sounds in a preset works a bit differently. Press the Key Zone Velocity button. Press the soft button below the grand piano sound. The low key, A0, for this sound will be selected. Play the note C4, middle C. This will set C4 as the low key for this sound. Be sure not to play the note more than once, or you'll change the setting for the high key as well. If you inadvertently change the high note, which should be set to C8, press the soft button twice to select, underline, the high note parameter, and move the data entry slider all the way up to reset the high note to C8. Press the soft button below the missed sound. Set its low key to C4 in the same way. Press the soft button below the multi-bass sound twice. The first press selects the low key. The second press selects the high key. Play the note B3 to set the high key for the bass sound to B3. You have just defined key ranges for each sound within the preset. When you play the keyboard, multi-bass stops at B3, and grand piano is layered with mist in the upper half of the keyboard. Let's also edit the transposition of the grand piano sound. Press the Tuning button. Press the soft button below the grand piano sound. The octave parameter will be selected. Press the up arrow button once to set the octave to +1. You have just transposed the grand piano track up 1 octave. At this point, you can play the keyboard and hear the difference. Editing preset effects. The effect used in a newly created preset is a copy of the effect used in the preset's primary sound. The effect, however, can be freely edited without changing the effect in the original sound. Changing the preset effect algorithm. Press the Track Effects button 3 times to move to the Effect Selector page. Press any of the soft buttons in the upper row to select the Effect Equals parameter. Use the Data Entry slider and/or the up-down arrow buttons to scroll through the list of effect algorithms available. You can listen to the different effects algorithms while in this mode by playing the keyboard. When you've finished, select effect number 45, Chorus plus Reverb 1, before moving on to the next exercises. Changing effect bus routing. Most of the TS effect algorithms contain multiple effects. In some cases, you may want to have different sounds processed by different effects. You can determine which of the effects in a multi-effect algorithm will affect a particular sound by editing the sound's effect bus routing. Press the Track Effects button 7 times to move to the bus page. Press the soft button underneath the multi-bass sound. Voice is underlined. Use the data entry slider and/or the up-down arrow buttons to set the output routing to dry. The bass sound will now be heard without any effect. Press the soft button underneath the grand piano sound. Use the data entry controls to set the output routing to FX2. In the current effect, the FX2 bus is routed to the reverb only, bypassing the chorus. This will allow the piano to be heard without chorusing. Adding dynamic effect modulation. Press the Track Effects button 7 times to access the Effects Mod 1 page. Press the soft button above Source, SRC equals, to select it, and use the down arrow button or the data entry slider to set it to Veloc. This assigns key velocity as the effect controller this preset will use. Select Dest equals and set it to Decay Time. This sets the reverb decay time as the effect parameter the source, that is key velocity, will modulate. Set Min to 0.20 and Max to 2.00. This sets the minimum and maximum values for the reverb decay time, depending on how hard you play the keyboard. You can now control reverb decay from key velocity. Striking the key faster provides longer reverb times, up to 2.00 seconds. However, you should probably designate which of the 3 sounds used in this preset has control of the effect, so that controller conflicts can be avoided. This becomes more important when using dynamic effects in sequences, where you may have a dozen sounds all fighting to control the same effect. Press the Track Effects button 3 times to access the Mods page. Press the soft button beneath the multi-bass sound. Press the down arrow button once to set this to No Control. Press the soft button beneath the mist sound and press the down arrow button to set this to No Control as well. Now only the grand piano sound has control of the reverb decay in this preset. You can verify this by pressing the soft button above the sounds to unstack them, selecting the mist or multi-bass sound, and playing either at a variety of velocities. You'll find that the reverb decay time remains constant. If you select and play the grand piano sound, though, the reverb decay time will change according to how hard you play the keys. Remember to restack the sounds when finished. Writing a preset. Let's save our new preset. Press the preset button twice. Press the lower right soft button beneath the word Write. This will take you to the Write Edit preset page. The upper right corner of the display shows the last selected preset name. Use the soft buttons under the words Left and Right to move the cursor under the letter of the preset name that you wish to change. Use the data entry slider or the up-down arrow buttons to select the letter, number, or symbol you want. Press and hold one of the 10 bank buttons to select the bank you want to write the sound into. The 6 presets currently in the bank will be showing in the display. While holding the bank button down, press the soft button nearest the location you want to write the new preset into. Note that the preset occupying the location you select will be replaced by the new preset. All the factory presets are stored on the disk included with your TS and can be easily reloaded if you want to get them back. Editing a program. In this section, we'll be exploring the basic steps involved in editing sounds. TS sounds and voices. For these exercises, we'll be using the sound tutorial, the last sound in Bank 9 of Bank Set U1. Select this sound now. A TS program can contain up to 6 voices in any combination. Editing a TS program, then, involves editing the individual voices within that sound. Press the Select Voice button. It's located in the lower row of buttons in the Programming section at the right end of the TS front panel. The display is now showing the 6 voices used in this sound. Selecting, muting, unmuting, and soloing voices. Voices are selected for editing in the same way that sounds are selected for performing. Press the soft button directly above Grand Piano to select it. Voices can be muted or unmuted easily. Press the soft button directly above Grand Piano a second time. The voice will be muted. Press the soft button again. The voice will be unmuted. You can solo a voice by double-clicking its soft button. Double-click the soft button located directly above Grand Piano. The voice will be soloed, and all other voices will be muted. Press the soft button one more time to unsolo the voice. Programming the patch selects. The combination of which voices are muted and which are not can be placed under direct control of the patch select buttons. While watching the display, press the left patch select button, then the right patch select button, then both patch select buttons. You'll see different combinations of voices muted for each patch select combination. Changing the patch select voice assignments. With the Select Voice page still showing in the display and neither patch select button pressed, mute all but the first voice. Press and hold the left patch select button. While continuing to hold the left patch select button, mute all but the second and fifth voices. Release the left patch select button while watching the display. All voices but voice 1 will be muted. Press the left patch select button. All but voices 2 and 5 will be muted. Now, when you play, with no buttons held down, you hear the rock organ voice. And with the left patch select button down, you hear a grand piano in combination with a string section. The TS waves. The most basic building block of the voice is the wave. A wave is a bit of sound that can be programmed and processed to create a finished voice. The TS contains 254 waves, which are grouped into categories called wave classes. Select and solo Voice 4 in the current program by double-clicking its soft button. Press the Wave button to move to the Wave editing page. Select Grand Piano on the Wave page. Press the up arrow button to select the next wave in this wave class, Piano Thud. Play a few notes on the keyboard to hear the new wave. Repeat these steps to scroll through the waves in this wave class. Eventually, you'll reach the last wave in this wave class, and continuing to press the up arrow button will select the first wave in the next wave class. The TS display will blink as you switch to the new wave class, the string sound wave class. You can also select and change the wave class you are currently in. Select the second parameter in the wave page. This is the wave class parameter. Use the data entry controls to select a new wave class. When you're done listening to the various waves, select SAW Wave 2 from the Waveform wave class. We'll be using it in the next example. To do this, take the following steps. Press the upper middle soft button, the wave class parameter, and use the data entry controls to locate the Waveform wave class. Press the upper left soft button and use the data entry controls to locate the SAW Wave 2 wave. About modulation. So far, we've been listening to the TS waves in a fairly rudimentary context, with only the most basic parameter settings. In the next few examples, we'll refine our sound using the advanced modulation capabilities. Using the default envelopes. Each voice has 3 envelopes, which can be used to control a variety of a voice's characteristics. A number of preset or default envelopes are available, which can be used to automate the process of envelope programming. Press the Envelope 3 button. Press the Copy button. It's located to the right of the Select Voice button. Press the soft button directly below the word Default in the display to call up the default envelope page. Press the up arrow button 3 times to select the Ramp Up default envelope. Press the soft button above the word Yes to recall the default envelope. The TS will briefly display Copy Completed before returning to the Copy page. Play and hold a note or chord on the keyboard to hear the effect of the new envelope. Repeat this procedure if you'd like to recall other default envelopes to hear what they can do. When you're through, recall the Slow Attack Pad default envelope before moving on to the next tutorial example. Editing envelope values. In some cases, you may wish to edit the envelope settings for specific applications. Press the Envelope 3 button once to move to the Envelope 3 times page. Select the Attack parameter and set its value to 50. Play and hold a note or chord to hear the effect. Set attack time to 0. Select the release parameter and set its value to 70. Play and release a note or chord to hear the effect. Set release time to 0. Play and release a note or chord to hear this effect. Before moving on, set attack to 30 and release to 48. Using the asterisks for performance control. A number of voice parameter settings can be adjusted during performance from the track parameters section of the TS. You can determine which parameters in any given voice will respond to these performance adjustments by assigning them in the voice programming section. For example, if you want to be able to adjust envelope attack time for a voice, simply turn on the asterisk following the envelope attack parameter. Press the soft button above attack twice. The cursor will move to the immediate right of the attack parameter under the asterisk. Press the down arrow button to turn the asterisk off. Changing the attack setting in the track parameters section will now have no effect on the attack time of envelope 3 in this voice. Press the up arrow button to turn the asterisk back on. This will allow the attack time for envelope 3 to be controlled in the track parameters section. The compare buffer. You can toggle between the original and edited versions of a sound by using the compare button. Press the compare button. Its LED will extinguish. Play a few notes on the keyboard. The sound you hear will be the original, unedited version of the sound you've been working with. Press the compare button again. Its LED will light. The new, edited version of the sound will be restored. Pitch bend. Pitch bend range can be programmed for each individual sound or set globally to use the same pitch bend range on all sounds. Editing a sound's pitch bend range. Play and hold a note or chord and move the pitch bend wheel all the way forward, then all the way back to verify that pitch bend range is one whole step in either direction. Press the Pitch Mods button, located in the Programming section. Select the Bend parameter. Use the data entry controls to set Bend equals to 3. Play and hold a note, and move the pitch bend wheel all the way forward, then all the way back to verify that the pitch bend range is now a minor third in either direction. Editing the global pitch bend range. Alternately, you can set the bend parameter to use a global pitch bend setting specified on the system page. With the bend parameter still selected, use the up arrow button or the data entry slider to set the value to system or sys. With the bend parameter set to sys, the amount of pitch bend for this program will be set on the system page. Press the System button. Select the Pitch Bend parameter. Use the data entry controls to set pitch bend to the desired value. Play the keyboard and move the pitch bend wheel to verify that the pitch bend range corresponds to the range you've set. Adjusting vibrato, or LFO rate. Vibrato is generally controlled by the LFO, low frequency oscillator. LFO rate can be easily adjusted. Press the LFO button. Select Mod Source and set the value to Wheel. Select Mod Amount and set the amount to plus 99. Do the same thing on the bottom row. Use the soft button to select the Rate parameter. Use the Data Entry slider or the up-down arrow buttons to adjust LFO rate. Press the Pitch Mod button and set the LFO to plus 99. Editing the filters. A sound's basic tonal character can be shaped using the TS filters. Press the Filters button. Select the Cutoff parameter. While holding a note or chord, use the Data Entry slider to vary the cutoff parameter and listen to the effect that the filter has on the sound. Using polykey pressure to control the filter. Set the cutoff parameter to a value of 20. Select the Mod Source parameter and use the Data Entry slider and/or the up-down arrow buttons to select Press. Select the Mod Amount parameter and use the Data Entry slider and/or the up-down arrow buttons to set this to plus 99. Play a note or chord on the keyboard, and while holding it down, press more firmly on the keys. The sound will become brighter. Changing the effect algorithm. Press the Program Effects button in the Programming section. Press any of the soft buttons in the upper row to select the Effect parameter. Use the Data Entry slider or the up-down arrow buttons to scroll through the list of effect algorithms available. You can listen to the different effects algorithms while in this mode by playing the keyboard. When you've finished, select Effect 45, Chorus plus Reverb 1 before moving on to the next exercises. Changing the effect variation. Each effect algorithm has a number of preset variations. Press any of the lower soft buttons to select the Variation parameter. Use the Data Entry controls to scroll through the list of effect variations available. You can listen to the different effects algorithms and variations while in this mode by playing the keyboard. When you've finished, select the third variation, Beautiful Pad, of Effect 45, Chorus plus Reverb 1. Editing the effects. Once you've selected the effect algorithm and variation you want to work with, you can edit individual effect parameters. Press the Program Effects button repeatedly to scroll through the listing of parameters available for this effect until you reach the Reverb Decay Time parameter. Select the Reverb Decay Time parameter. Use the data entry controls to set the value to 1.30. Saving a sound. We'll need to store our new sound program so that we can use it later in this tutorial. Writing a program. Press the Write Program button. You'll be presented with the Write Edit Program page. Use the soft buttons under the words left and right to move the cursor under the letter that you wish to change. Use the data entry slider or the up-down arrow buttons to select the letter, number, or symbol you want. Moving the data entry slider all the way down selects a space. Name the new sound My-Pad. Press and hold the Bank 9 button. Press the soft button below the sound Tutorial. The program will be written into memory at this location. Storage. Formatting a floppy disk. Before you can use a floppy disk to save and load data, you must format the disk. Insert a blank 3.5-inch floppy diskette into the disk drive. Press the Storage button. Select Disk from the choices presented. Select Format. Select Format. The TS will ask you to confirm the selection, as formatting the disk will erase all files on the disk. Select Yes. In about a minute, formatting will be complete, and you can use the disk for data storage. Saving a single program to disk. Select the sound My-Pad. Press the Storage button. Select Disk from the choices presented. Select Save. You can select from among several types of files to save. Use the data entry slider and/or the up-down arrow buttons to set Type equals 1 program. Select Yes. You will be given the opportunity to rename the sound. If you wish, use the soft buttons, the data entry slider, and the up-down arrow buttons to rename the sound. Once you've renamed the sound, select Yes. In a few seconds, the save operation will be complete. Loading a 120 program file. Insert the TS tutorial floppy diskette into the disk drive. Press the Storage button. Select Disk from the choices presented. Select Load. You can select from among several types of files to load. Use the data entry controls to set the Type equals 120 programs. Set Load File Equals to User Banks. Select Yes. In a few seconds, the load operation will be complete. Loading a single program file. Insert the newly formatted disk into the drive and press the Storage button. Select Disk from the choices presented. Select Load. You can select from among several types of files to load. Use the data entry slider and/or the up-down arrow buttons to set the type to one program. Underline load file equals and use the up-down arrow buttons to locate the sound My Pad. Select Yes. In a few seconds, the load operation will be complete and the TS will display the Write Edit Program page with the sound My Pad ready to write. You can rename the sound if you so desire. Using the bank set and bank buttons, find a location to write the new program. While holding down the Sounds button or one of the bank buttons, press the soft button nearest the location you want to write the program to. The My Pad sound will be written into this location, replacing whatever sound is currently located there. Saving files to disk. While nothing is accomplished by saving a sound, in this case My Pad, to disk, reloading it, and then writing it back into memory, these steps have been outlined here so that you understand how to move sounds from one bank set, and disk to another. This may come in handy when you want to organize sounds from different locations into new banks to use in performance or sequencing. The steps involved in saving sounds, sequences, presets, and other types of files to disk are all basically the same. Insert a formatted 3.5-inch floppy diskette into the disk drive. Press the Storage button. Select Disk from the choices presented. Select Save. Use the data entry slider and/or the up-down arrow buttons to set the type of file you wish to save, whether it's a sequence file, a bank of sounds, or whatever. Select Yes. You'll be given the opportunity to rename the file you're saving. Use the soft buttons, the data entry slider, and the up-down arrow buttons to rename the file. Once you've renamed the file, or decided to leave the name as it is, select Yes. In a few seconds, the save operation will be complete. Using sampled sounds with the TS. The Ensoniq TS has the ability to play sounds created for the ASR10, EPS16 Plus, and EPS. These sampled sounds differ from the TS's onboard sounds in several significant ways. Loading a sampled sound from the factory disk. Insert the disk labeled SSD100 Sampled Sound Disk into the TS disk drive. Press the Storage button. Press the soft button above the word Load in the display. This is a quick way to get to the disk load page. Note that the display looks slightly different when loading sampled sounds. The display shows the name of the sampled sound and the size of the sampled sound in blocks on the top line of the display. The bottom line of the display shows the file type you are loading, in this case a sampled sound, and the directory where the sampled sound is located. Make sure the type parameter is set to sampled sound. Select the load file parameter by pressing its soft button and use the data entry controls to scroll through the listing of sounds available. The factory disk that came with the TS offers 3 sampled sound files: vocal snips, RS perks, and guitar strums. Select vocal snips and press the soft button above the word Yes. The bottom left of the display shows the amount of available free blocks within the TS. As shipped from the factory, without any sampled sounds already loaded, The TS has 4,018 blocks of memory available for sampled sounds. Press the Bank 0 button to load the sampled sound into the first bank location. The display momentarily shows loading vocal snips and then returns to the load file display. You have just successfully loaded a sampled sound file. Selecting and playing a sampled sound. Once the sound has finished loading, you'll probably want to select it so you can play it. Press the Sounds button and use the Bank Set and the Bank buttons to move to Bank 0 of Bank Set S8. You'll find the display looks a bit different when you're selecting sampled sounds. The display shows that Bank Set location S80 contains a sampled sound, that the sampled sound was loaded from disk SSD 100, and that Vocal Snips contains 420 blocks of sampled sound information. Press the soft button in the center of the lower row. This selects the sampled sound for playing. And that brings us to the conclusion of the instructional portion of this video. Don't forget about the great accessories that are available from Ensoniq for your TS product. The TS-1000, true timbral magic from this collection containing over 100 new sounds and presets for your TS. Upcoming sound libraries include the TS-1000 International Collection, TS-1001 with altered native sounds, TS-1002, the Rhythm Construction Kit, and many more to follow. Don't forget about the entire EPS, EPS-16 Plus, and ASR-10 sound library. With over 3,000 sounds, this collection, which was originally designed for our samplers, can now be loaded into your TS. CD-ROMs 1, 2, and 3 are also available and can be connected to your TS using the optional SP4 SCSI interface. If expanding your sequencer memory is in your future, the SQX70 will give you 97,000 notes. Another great accessory for the TS-10 is the ASR-10 rack mount sampler. With total integration of sampling, onboard effects, resampling, and sequencing, the ASR-10 advanced sampling recorder stands apart from all other rack mount samplers. The DP4 parallel effects processor would be another great add-on. 400 onboard presets, 4 signal processors, a digital patch bay, and submixing all in one easy-to-use box. The DP4 Parallel Effects Processor, the next generation in affordable effects. Whether you perform on stage or in church, teach, or simply want to have fun at home, the KS32 Weighted Action MIDI Studio gives you the feel of a true piano with the features of a MIDI workstation. A combination that will give you a great feeling.
Play at maximum volume.
Turn me on, turn me up.
Yo, drop the cut.
Turn me on, turn me up. 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 When the music hits you in the middle of the night, power up your TS-10. Put the groove down right. On stage or in the studio, the sound is here to stay.
want to make sure that we're all working with the same set of sounds. Find the TSD-100 disk and load it into the drive. Press Storage, press Disk, select Load. Use the data entry controls to set the type equals 120 programs. Set Load File equals to User Banks. Select Yes. In a few seconds, the load operation will be complete. Selecting programs and sounds. We'll begin our tutorial by selecting and playing a few of the TS sounds. Press the Sounds button. This puts the TS into Sounds mode. The TS display will be showing you the 6 sounds available in the bank that's currently selected. More on banks later. Press the button directly above or below the sound you want to select. The bank of sounds you see may differ from the one shown here. The buttons located inside the display are called soft buttons because the functions of these buttons are determined by the software. You can access other banks of programs in the current bank set, more on bank sets later, using the 10 bank buttons located directly under the display. Press one of the 10 bank buttons, 0 through 9, below the display. Its yellow LED will light. Press the soft button directly above or below the name of the sound you wish to play. TS banks are organized into larger groupings called bank sets. Press the bank set button a few times. Each time you press, the TS displays the new bank set and the sounds within it. The name of the bank set is located in the upper left corner of the screen. You can select banks and sounds from each bank set as described above. Stacking sounds on the TS keyboard is simple. Press the Sounds button to enter Sounds mode if you are currently in some other mode, and select Bank 0 in Bank Set U0. Select the grand piano sound. This will be the primary sound. Double-click the soft button directly below the mist sound. This will become one of 2 possible secondary sounds. If you play the keyboard now, you will hear both sounds. Double-click the soft button directly below the multi-bass sound. This will become the other secondary sound. If you play the keyboard now, you will hear all 3 sounds. Before you continue, make sure that grand piano is selected as the primary sound and that mist and multi-bass are stacked with the grand piano. The presets. Sounds that have been stacked together can be saved as presets. Up to 3 sounds can be combined to form a preset, and these 3 sounds can be split and/or stacked in any way. The TS includes 300 presets when shipped from the factory. Selecting a preset. Press the Presets button. Press the soft button nearest the name of the preset you wish to select. Selecting other presets in the current bank. Select the presets in the current bank to get a sense of how this process works. Note that each time you select a new preset, the effect sound changes. This is because each preset can have its own effect setup, overriding the effect setups for the individual sounds used in the preset. Selecting presets in other banks within the current bank set. As with sounds, presets are grouped into sets of 6, called banks. Press one of the 10 bank buttons, 0 through 9, below the display. Its yellow LED will light. Press the soft button directly above or below the name of the preset you wish to play. Selecting presets in other bank sets. As with sounds, banks of presets are organized into larger groupings called bank sets. While holding down the bank set button, press one of the first 5 bank buttons, 0 through 4, to select a new bank set. Alternatively, you can press the bank set button repeatedly to scroll through all the bank sets. Select banks and presets from the new bank set as described above. Sequencing. Before we move into the sequencing section of this tutorial, we'll need to load our sequencing files from the tutorial disk. Loading the tutorial sequence files. Insert the disk labeled TS-10 Sound and Sequence Disk into the disk drive. Press the Storage button. Select Disk. Select Load. You can select from among several types of files to load. Use the data entry controls to set the type to 30 sequence song file. The top line of the display will show Load File equals Tutorial. Select Yes. In a few seconds, the load operation will be complete. Selecting sequences and songs. As with presets and sounds, there are a number of locations in which you can store sequences and songs. Selecting sequences and songs is similar to selecting presets and sounds. Playing the demo song. Press the Seeks Songs button to enter sequencer mode. Press the Bank 0 button to move to the bank containing the demo song. Press the soft button above the name of the demo song to select the song. Press play. The demo song will play. When you're through listening to the song, press stop. Playing individual component sequences. The demo song is made up of shorter sequences which have been chained together to play in a specific order. Let's listen to one of those shorter sequences. Press the soft button closest to the name of the individual sequence you want to hear. Press play. When you're through listening, press stop. Creating a new sequence. Press the Bank 1 button. This bank contains 6 blank, empty, sequence locations. Press the soft button above the first blank sequence location. It's the one in the upper left corner of the display. The TS now displays the first page of the Create Song Sequence menu. Press the soft button above Sequence to create a new sequence. The TS will display the next page of the Create Sequence menu. Use the soft buttons under the words Left and Right to move the cursor, and use the data entry slider and the up-down arrow buttons to select letters and characters. Name the sequence My-Seek. You can move the data entry slider all the way down to select a blank space for each of the 5 remaining characters left in the display. Press the soft button above Yes. You will move to the next page where you can set the sequence time signature. Pressing the middle soft button in the lower row will alternately select between the numerator and the denominator in the time signature. For now, we'll be working in 4/4 time, so leave this set as it is. Press the soft button above Yes. You will be returned to the sequence bank display, and the new sequence will be installed in the first sequence location. Replacing track sounds. Now we are going to place the sounds that we will be recording with on sequence tracks. Press the Tracks 1 to 6 button in the Track Parameters section. The display is showing the first 6 tracks in the new sequence. Note that the last sound you are using is installed in the first track and selected. The other tracks are not defined at this point, and may not be the same sound shown in this display. Let's replace the Track 1 sound with a drum set sound. Press the Replace Track Sound button. Its LED will light, and the LED above the Sounds button will begin to flash. Use the Bank Set, Bank, and Soft buttons to select the sound The Groove, a drum set sound, located in Bank 0 of Bank Set 0. Press the Replace Track Sound button to return to the Sequence Tracks page. The sound The Groove is now installed in Track 1. Recording a track. Now that we have a sound selected for Track 1, we're ready to record a sequence. Press and hold the Record button. While continuing to hold the Record button, press the Play button, then release both buttons. The metronome will begin clicking quarter notes, and the Locate page will be displayed. Rec will be flashing in the display. While the metronome continues to click, you can use the data entry slider or the up-down arrow buttons to increase or decrease the sequence tempo, or tap the tempo button on the display. Please note, there are a couple of things to be aware of when recording the first track of a sequence. First, recording will not actually begin until you play a note. Second, the length of the first track you record will determine the length of the sequence. Record 4 measures using a simple kick and snare drum pattern, perhaps alternating the kick and snare on quarter notes. The kick drum is on the lowest note on the keyboard, C2. The snare is 1 octave higher, C3. When you've played the drums for 4 measures, press the Stop Continue button. The TS will ask you if you want to keep the sequence you've just recorded. If you'd like to try again, press the soft button below the word No, and repeat the previous steps. When you're ready to go on, press the soft button above Yes. The Locate page will be displayed. You've just successfully recorded a track. At this point, you can press play and listen to it as often as you like. Re-recording a track. If you've completed the previous steps, track 1 is still selected. Press and hold the record button, then press the play button. The metronome will click out one measure of quarter notes and recording will begin. Play a new drum part that is different than the previous part. Once the sequence has run all the way through in record mode, recording will stop and the TS sequencer will enter audition mode. Press the soft button above Play Original Track. You will hear your original drum part. Press the soft button above Play New Track. You will hear the new track. You will need to keep either the original track or the new track. To keep the original track, press the soft button under Keep Original Track. To keep the new track, press the soft button under Keep New Track. For now, keep the original track containing the alternating quarter note kick and snare pattern by pressing the appropriate soft button. Adding to a track. You can also overdub parts onto a track by using Add mode. Press the sequencer control button. Select Record Mode equals Replace. Press the up arrow button once to change this to Record Mode equals Add. Press the Tracks 1 to 6 button and verify that Track 1 is still selected. It should be underlined. If it's not, select it now by pressing the upper left soft button. Press and hold the Record button. Then press the Play button. After the one measure count in, you'll hear your drum track begin to play back. Play an eighth note hi-hat pattern along with it. The hi-hat sounds are located from E3 to B3. When the sequence has run through, you'll be returned to the audition page. Select Keep New Track. You should now have a drum track with a kick drum, snare, and hi-hats. Quantizing a track. Quantizing can be used to place notes played by the sequencer precisely on the beat. Track 1 should still be selected, as indicated on the upper row of the Locate page showing in the display. Press the Edit Track button. Press the soft button above Quantize. You'll be taken to the Quantize menu. The default setting is to quantize the track to quarter notes. If this is not set to quarter notes, use the data entry controls to set this value to quarter notes. Press the soft button above Yes to execute the operation. Select Play New Track. If you haven't changed the quantize settings, you'll find that the track is playing back all the drums in quarter notes. This won't sound correct for the eighth note hi-hat pattern you recorded. Press the soft button under Keep Original Track. This will undo the quantize operation so that you can try again. Press the Edit Track button, then the soft button above Quantize again. Press the up arrow button twice to change the quantize value from quarter notes to eighth notes. Press the soft button above Yes. You'll find yourself at the audition page. Press play. Select Keep New Track. Using the Set Ranges feature. Most sequence editing operations do not have to be applied to all the data in a track. You can specify note and/or measure ranges to work on. Press the Edit Track button. Press the soft button above Quantize. Use the data entry slider or the up-down arrow buttons to set the quantize value to quarter notes. Press the soft button below Range equals All. You'll be presented with the Set Range page. Press the soft button in the center of the lower row to select A0, the low key. Play the bass drum on the keyboard. This will set this as the lowest note in the edit range. The cursor will automatically move to C8, the high key. Play the snare drum on the keyboard. This will set the highest note of the edit range. Press the soft button above Set. This will set the key range, and you will be returned to the Quantize page. Press the soft button above Yes. This will quantize the kick and snare drum part to quarter notes, while leaving the hi-hat part alone, and you'll be returned to the audition page. Press the soft button below Keep New Track. Recording additional tracks. Press the Tracks 1 to 6 button in the Track Parameters section. Press the top middle soft button, Track 2. Notice that the sound you were previously using, the groove, is automatically assigned to the track. Press the Replace Track Sound button and assign the sound Multi-Bass to the track by pressing its soft button. Press the Replace Track Sound button again. You now have multi-bass assigned to track 2. Record a bass part in the key of F, following the steps detailed previously. You may select and record on up to 12 tracks in this way. The other 6 tracks can be accessed by pressing the Track 7 to 12 button. Replacing a sound along with its effect. Just as with the presets, all the sounds assigned to the various sequencer tracks share the same effect. You can replace a track sound with a new sound and also copy its effect into the current sequence for use by all the sounds in the sequence. Press the Tracks 1 to 6 button and select Track 3, upper right soft button. Double-click the Replace Track Sound button. Notice the Replace Track Sound LED is flashing. This signifies that you are replacing a track sound with a new sound and its effect. Select the grand piano sound in bank U00 by pressing its soft button. Press the Replace Track Sound button again. The grand piano sound will be placed into track 3 and its effect will be copied into the sequence. Record a piano part in the key of F on track 3 by pressing Record and while holding it down, pressing Play. We'll be using it in the section on songs in a moment. Muting and soloing tracks. At times you might find it helpful to temporarily turn off some of the tracks that are playing back. Press the Tracks 1 to 6 button. Press Play, and while the sequence is playing back, press the Mix Pan button. Each of the 6 sets of numbers in the display corresponds to the mix level for the track that occupies the same location. In other words, the mix control for track 1 is located in the upper left corner of the display. If it isn't already selected, select the mix control for track 1 by pressing its soft button. Press the track 1 mix soft button a second time. The mix parameter will appear in parentheses. This is to indicate that the track is muted. You should now be hearing only the other tracks you've recorded. Press the soft button above track 1 mix again. The parentheses will disappear and the track will be unmuted. Additionally, sequence tracks can be soloed. Double-click the soft button above the track 1 mix parameter. Track 1 will now be soloed. You should be hearing only the drum track. Press the soft button above the track 1 mix parameter again. The track will no longer be soloed. About sequence track parameters. Each sequence track has a group of controls associated with it. These are identical to the controls that are available when creating and editing presets. Key range, attack, volume, release, pitch bend enable disable, brightness, LFO rate, and timbre. And these controls are used in exactly the same way. If you're unclear on how to use them, you may wish to review the editing presets section of this tutorial or refer to your musician's manual. Songs. Among other things, songs are used to control the order in which individual sequences play back. Creating a song. Press the Seek Songs button. Select the blank sequence song location occupying the last position in the bank that's showing in the display. This should still be bank 1. This will trigger the Save Changes prompt. The TS is asking you if you'd like to retain or discard the changes you've made to the sequence My Seek. If you press the soft button below No at this point, you'll lose any changes you've made to any of the track parameters, volume, pan, transpose, etc. The performance data, notes, controller moves, and so on, will still be retained though. Creating a song. Press the soft button above Yes to save the changes to your sequence. You will move on to the Create New Song Sequence page. Press the soft button above Song. You'll be taken to the song name page. Name the song My-Song. Please note, song names begin with a $ symbol, which cannot be changed. This helps to differentiate songs from sequences when viewing sequence song banks. Press the soft button above Yes. You'll find yourself back in the sequence song banks with your new song occupying the last location in this bank. Editing song steps. As we've mentioned, individual sequences can be chained together to form a song. A finished song contains a number of steps, each of which plays back a specific sequence, as well as handling several other parameters that help make the creation of songs easy. The process of determining which song step plays which sequence, along with several related parameters, is called editing song steps. Defining the first song step. Press the Edit Song button. Press the soft button below Edit Steps. You will be presented with the Edit Song Steps display. Select Sequence equals Song End. Press the up arrow button once. The TS display will blink, and the first sequence in memory, verse 1, will be assigned to the first step of the song. Changing the sequence played by the song step. You can easily select a different sequence to play at any step of a song. To change the first step of this song so that it plays the sequence you created, do the following. Use the up-down arrow buttons to scroll through the list of available sequences. Continue until you find the sequence My Seek, and stop. This assigns My Seek as the first step to play in this song. Defining additional song steps. Press the soft button below Step equals 1 to select it. Press the up arrow button to change this to Step equals 2. Select Seek equals Song End and use the up-down arrow button to select the sequence Verse 2 for this song step. Select Step equals 2 and change it to Step equals 3. Select Seek equals Song End and use the up-down arrow buttons to select the sequence Bridge for this song step. Playing the song. Press play. The locate page will be displayed. and the song will play the sequences in the order specified. If you watch the display as the song plays, you'll see the name of whatever sequence is currently playing displayed. When you've had enough, press stop. Repeating a song step. Press the Edit Song button and select Edit Steps. Select Step equals 1. Select Repetition, Reps equals 1, and press the up arrow button once to change it to Reps 2. Song Step 1 will now play twice when the song is played back. You can verify this by pressing play and watching the display to see which sequences play and for how long. Inserting a song step. If you're not still there, return now to the Edit Steps page. Press Edit Song, then select Edit Steps. Select Step equals 1 and use the data entry slider or the up-down arrow buttons to change it to Step equals 2. Press the soft button above Insert. A new step will be inserted at Step 2. The sequence originally played at Step 2 will now be played at Step 3. Select Seek equals blank and use the up-down arrow buttons to select the sequence My Seek for Step 2 of the song. Muting tracks and transposing tracks. Individual sequence tracks can be muted or transposed during playback of the song. This can help to speed up the process of creating songs. For example, let's say that in our song, we would like to play My Seek 2 times. The first time, though, we'd like to hear it one whole step higher, in the key of G, without the bass part. The second time, we'd like to hear it in the original key, F, and with the bass part. Rather than having to create a separate sequence for each of these sections, we can selectively mute and transpose tracks to achieve the same result, thereby using only a single sequence. Select Step 2 and set the value to 1. Also, set Reps to 1. Press the soft button above Tracks. Press the soft button in the middle of the upper row. The first P stands for play, and the first P represents track 1, will be selected. The bass part is on track 2, so press the soft button once again to advance to track 2. Press the up arrow button. The P will change to M for mute. Track 2, the bass track, will now be muted at this step. Press the soft button in the middle of the lower row. The first N, for normal, will be selected. Again, this represents track 1, the drum track. Press the soft button again twice to select the third N. This is the track that plays the piano part you recorded. Press the up arrow button to change this to T, which stands for transpose. This track will be transposed on playback as long as we complete the next step and set a transpose amount. Press the soft button under Transpose equals +00. Press the up arrow button twice to set the transpose amount to +2. Any track set to T, as track 3 is, will now play back 2 semitones higher than they were recorded when this step plays. Press play to listen to the song. When this step plays, you will hear your sequence play. It will be transposed up by 2 semitones, and the bass part will be muted. Song tracks. Once you've created a song, an additional 12 tracks called song tracks become available to you. Along with the 12 sequence tracks, this gives you a total of 24 tracks to make music with. While individual sequences are chained together to form songs, the song tracks run the entire length of the song. This can make them particularly useful for recording parts that might overlap from one sequence to the next, or use them when you want to add a part to a song that you'd prefer to play from beginning to end. In all other ways, the song tracks function just like the sequencer tracks. Each song track can have its own sound, MIDI channel, and other track parameters including effects busing, volume setting, pan setting, and so on. Selecting song tracks. With the new song still selected, press the Tracks 1 to 6 button. The song tracks window will be displayed. There'll be a single sound assigned to track 1. It will be whatever sound you last selected before moving to the song tracks page. Double-click the Tracks 1 to 6 button to view the sequence tracks. Double-click the Tracks 1 to 6 button again to return to the song tracks window. Replacing a song track sound. Select the first track by pressing its soft button. Press the Replace Track Sound button. The TS will enter Replace Track Sound mode, just as with a sequence or preset. Select the sound Elec Keys. It's located in Bank 0 of bank set U0. Press the Replace Track Sound button again to return to the song tracks window. Recording a song track. Press and hold Record, then press play. The metronome will start, and after a one-measure count-in, the TS will enter record mode. Play a part using the Elec Keys sound through to the end of the song. If you don't want to play all the way to the end, press the stop button when you want to stop recording. When the song has played through, or when you press stop, you'll be presented with the audition page. Keep the new track. Quantizing a song track. Song tracks can be edited and manipulated just like sequence tracks. For example, you might want to quantize your song track. Press the Tracks 1 to 6 button to return to the song tracks window. If it isn't still selected, select Track 1. Press the Edit Track button. Select Quantize. Set the quantize value to whatever best suits the track, 8th notes, 16th notes, etc. Select Yes to perform the quantize operation. You'll be presented with the audition page. Play the original and the new tracks to verify that the song track quantized properly. Keep one of the tracks by pressing the appropriate soft button. Using effects with the sequencer. As with individual sequences and presets, a song can have its own effect setup. Press the sequencer control button twice to move to the second page of the Control Songs menu. Note the setting for Song Step Effect. Song Step Effect can be set to either Seek or Song. It should currently be set to Song. Please note, if Song Step Effect is set to Seek, then the effect used at any point during the song will be determined by the sequence. This allows you to use different effects during the course of a song by assigning different effects to different sequences. Leave it set to Song. Choosing a new song effect. Press the Track Effects button 3 times to move to the third page of the Track Effects menu. Press any of the upper soft buttons to select the effect algorithm parameter. Use the data entry slider or the up-down arrow buttons to select Effect 45, Chorus plus Reverb 1. The song will now use this effect. Assigning track effects busing. Select Song Track 1. This is the Elect Keys track that you just recorded. Press the Track Effects button until you reach this page. You may have to press the button several times. If it's not already selected, press the Track 1 soft button. Use the data entry controls to set this to FX1. Since the FX1 bus feeds both the chorus and the reverb in this algorithm, this will allow you to use both effects to process the electric piano track. If you wish, play the keyboard while changing the routing parameter for this track to hear the result that different effect routings have on this sound. Storage. Formatting a floppy disk. Before you can use a floppy disk to save and load data, you must format the disk. Insert a blank 3.5-inch floppy diskette into the disk drive. Press the Storage button. Select Disk from the choices presented. Select Format. Select Format. The TS will ask you to confirm the selection, as formatting the disk will erase all files on the disk. Select Yes. In about a minute, formatting will be complete, and you can use the disk for data storage. Saving files to disk. The steps involved in saving sounds, sequences, presets, and other types of files to disk are all basically the same. Insert a formatted 3.5-inch floppy diskette into the disk drive. Press the Storage button. Select Disk from the choices presented. Select Save. Use the data entry slider and/or the up-down arrow buttons to set the type of file you wish to save, whether it's a sequence file, a bank of sounds, or whatever. Select Yes. You'll be given the opportunity to rename the file you're saving. Use the soft buttons, the data entry slider, and the up-down arrow buttons to rename the file. Once you've renamed the file, or decided to leave the name as it is, select Yes. In a few seconds, the save operation will be complete. And that brings us to the conclusion of the instructional portion of this video. Don't forget about the great accessories that are available from Ensoniq for your TS product. The TS-1000, true timbral magic from this collection containing over 100 new sounds and presets for your TS. Upcoming sound libraries include the TS-1000 International Collection, TS-1001 with altered native sounds, TS-1002, the Rhythm Construction Kit, and many more to follow. Don't forget about the entire EPS, EPS-16 Plus, and ASR-10 sound library. With over 3,000 sounds, this collection, which was originally designed for our samplers, can now be loaded into your TS. CD-ROMs 1, 2, and 3 are also available and can be connected to your TS using the optional SP4 SCSI interface. If expanding your sequencer memory is in your future, the SQX70 will give you 97,000 notes. Another great accessory for the TS-10 is the ASR-10 rack mount sampler. With total integration of sampling, onboard effects, resampling, and sequencing, the ASR-10 Advanced Sampling Recorder stands apart from all other rack mount samplers. The DP4 Parallel Effects Processor would be another great add-on. 400 onboard presets, 4 signal processors, a digital patch bay, and submixing all in one easy-to-use box. The DP4 Parallel Effects Processor, the next generation of affordable effects. Whether you perform on stage or in church, teach, or simply want to have fun at home, the KS-32 Weighted Action MIDI Studio gives you the feel of a true piano with the features of a MIDI workstation. A combination